That took a while, I said.
Good morning. It's Tuesday. It's 10 a.m. It's time for our coffee and conversations. Can someone throw something in the chat for me? I got a chat. Woohoo! Good morning, Jill. Jill and I discovered last week that we had chat issues because she said, I asked a question. She sent me a text afterwards. And she said, I asked you a question and you didn't answer it. It's because it wasn't showing last week. So if you submitted any chat questions last week, I didn't see them. If you put anything in the chat last week, I didn't see them. But apparently they're working now. Good morning, Karen. La la la, da da da. Okay, so they are resolved. This morning we're going to be in Acts chapter 15, 36 to the end of the chapter, which I've affectionately titled The Great Breakup. Maybe you can think of great breakups. The Beatles. I can't think of any other famous breakups besides Taylor Swift and all the guys she's broken up with before. I don't know why Travis Kelce would date her, because if you date Taylor Swift and then she breaks up with you, or you break up with her, then you get a song written about you. Yes, I know. He won the Super Bowl. He beat my team. I will survive. I can't think of any other breakups. Sonny and Cher. Yeah, you can probably think of great breakups. Today we're going to cover the breakup of Paul and Barnabas. But before we get there, annual celebration at the end of the month on on February 25th after the service. If you, depending on your last name, bring the thing that is assigned to your last name, and I don't remember them off the top of my head. They are in the bulletin. They are in the email. You can call the church office and ask them. Any of the above. You can figure it out, or maybe someone will throw it in the chat to help remind us what they say. All right. This past Sunday, we started our series on the 7 words. We looked at Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. We're going to continue on in the series leading up to Easter to prepare our hearts and our minds for Resurrection Sunday. So I hope you will be here with us every week before then, between now and then, to help prepare your heart for that. And then additionally, to help prepare your heart for that, we're going to have a Good Friday service. I think that might be the first one ever done in the history of Valley View. Pastor Allen said he's never remembered doing one. And I don't know. He was pretty young when he came here. He wasn't here at the very beginning, but maybe he would know if we've ever done one before he got here. My understanding is we have not done one before, so this will be a great time to really prepare our hearts fully for the what is Passion Week, and what is Good Friday, and what is the resurrection. So I hope you'll plan to participate in all that. And additionally to that, you can be doing things that will help prepare your heart by reflecting on Christ's death and sacrifice, by what mainline churches or like Catholics would do, which would be Lent. I'm not going to recommend you do the Lent stuff that they do, but this season of Lent, the season of preparing your heart for what will come. A couple that come to mind that are excellent resources is Journey to the Cross by Paul David Tripp. And then I put that on there. How did I do that? I actually knew you could do that, but I didn't know it would do that in this. So you guys ready for some fun? Okay, you guys ready? You ready? Oh, I didn't know it would put it on there. So, la la la. I'm squirreling. I think this is one too. I can't remember. Oh, wrong hand. That one? Or is it that one? There's one where you do that. You could also do that. And I can't remember what all of them are. Anyhow, sorry for squirreling on that. Where are my fireworks? There we go. So I find that way funnier than you guys do, apparently. So Lent resources, Journey of the Cross, and then also one that just came out is O Sacred Head Now Wounded, which is a devotional by Crossway. It's similar to the Advent one, or similar to the Be Thou My Vision one that they came out with. That's a 30-day rolling one that you just kind of start over every 30 days. There's the Advent one, which goes from just before, like at the beginning of Advent, all the way through Epiphany, and then this one it describes this Pascha through Pentecost, but traditionally Pascha is Easter, and so they've just reframed it as calling it the season of Pascha, so the season of preparing for Easter, and then after Easter. And so it actually you should start it tomorrow if you're going to follow it, and then you would use it up to Easter, and then you would use it subsequent Sundays after Easter. I think it has each Sunday for after Easter leading up to Pentecost. Be an excellent resource to go through if you're looking for something to prepare your heart, mind, and soul for Passion Week and Good Friday and Easter. So those are some things. There are plenty more out there. I know people that are reading through the book of Exodus during Lent, because there's 40 chapters in Exodus, and it's about deliverance and sacrifice and all these things. So you can do that if you want to, kind of like how people will read the Gospel of Luke in the 24 days leading up to Christmas. All right, let's go. Let's jump into Acts chapter 15, verses 36 to the end of the chapter, which is verse 41. So after some days, Paul and Barnabas, Paul said to Barnabas, let us return and visit the brothers in every city where we proclaim the word of the Lord and see how they are doing. So Paul and Barnabas, they are in Antioch, and they've decided, they've been ministering. And after a period of time, we don't know exactly how long, Paul is impressed. It's impressed upon him to go visit the churches. He has this idea, and let's do this. Barnabas, let's go. And he says, let us return to the brothers and visit the cities, every city where we proclaim the word of the Lord and see how they are. So it's interesting. Like when you think of the Apostle Paul, in his missionary journeys and his missionary efforts, so often we think of him as spending the majority of his time going to new places and doing new ministries. But if you actually read it, a lot of his missionary journeys, they certainly include that. They certainly include him going, but he also is committed to going back to the people that he has preached to and the believers that have put their faith, hope, and trust in Christ and the churches that are formed. Paul's missionary efforts are not just to non-believers, but his missionary efforts include the strengthening of the churches that he has started, that the Holy Spirit has started through his efforts. It's a dual strategy, because if you have a strong church in the location you're at, it's helpful because they can continue to minister even when you're not there. Indigenous believers are more capable or better equipped to minister to the individuals in the region than a missionary who has to move around or a missionary who has to learn the language. So it is advantageous to strengthen the believers that are already there. So they want to go to the brothers, which again, this is critical word, and then that they proclaimed the word of the Lord and see how they are. They want to know how these believers, how these churches are doing. And now Barnabas wanted to take John called Mark. If you remember, and it'll say this, but Paul thought best not to take with them one who had withdrawn from them in Pamphylia and had not gone with them to the work. Paul says, I don't think we should take him. Barnabas says we should take him. This is a disagreement on strategy. This is a disagreement over who should participate. John Mark was not in sin when he went home, at least to our knowledge. We never heard that he sinned when he went home. But Paul, for some reason, thought it would be best not to take him. We're not told why. Barnabas thought it would be good to take him. Apparently, John Mark's perspective, John Mark's thoughts, his thinking, his willingness to go have changed. and so he wants to go with them. He is willing to do so now. Paul says, "No, I don't want you to go." Barnabas says, "Yes." Now, does it shock you that the man who is known for being an encourager wants to take someone who could probably use some encouragement with him? Paul says no. Barnabas says yes. And they have a sharp disagreement. This is not just a minor disagreement. These two men sharply disagree over it. And so that they separated from each other. They decide it's better for us to part ways than to be in disagreement over this issue. So Barnabas took Mark with him and sailed away to Cyprus. So Barnabas goes to his home area. He goes to his home region to minister to the churches that are there. And Paul chose Silas and departed, having been commended by the brothers to the grace of the Lord. And he went through Syria and Cilicia, strengthening the churches. So often when we think of what Paul does, we think of him as just starting churches. But that's not his strategy, as we've seen. His strategy is to strengthen the churches that he started and to start new churches. He wants to have a network of churches that are able to support the journey and are going to continue the work of the Lord while he's gone. And he wants to see them strong and healthy. Healthy churches are strong churches, and strong churches are able to minister to people and reach their community. And so it is a good thing that he goes and strengthens them. Now, what happens to John Mark down the road? Does Paul continue to think of John Mark in this negative way that he won't do ministry with him? No. We know from these verses that John Mark is considered valuable to Paul. Later on down the road in 2 Timothy, Paul says to Timothy, bring John Mark with you, or bring Mark with you, because he is useful to me. Something changed to Paul's tone. Perhaps Mark's ministry with Barnabas in the churches that have been established by Paul and Barnabas, they declare to Paul, hey, Mark was helpful to us. That's perhaps what happens. Or he gets word from Peter, who church history says that Peter and Mark team up in Rome to do ministry. And that's a potential. Peter actually references him here in that verse. In Philemon, verse 24, the Apostle Paul references that Mark is with him. In Colossians, he talks about Philemon being, he talks about Mark being beneficial to him. Mark is helpful to the church in Colossae, which is what Philemon is attached to as well. And so the Apostle Paul views John Mark, Barnabas's cousin, as helpful to him later. We don't know what changed, but the Lord restored their relationship to the point that Paul could say, yeah, I want him to come do ministry with me because he's helpful. Friends, we should not write anyone off permanently. We should never write off someone who fails. If someone rejects the faith, then we pray for them and we try to restore them. But that's not what happens here. Mark, he just failed. And what does he need in that instance? Does he need condemnation and someone to write him off forever? No. He needs to be restored, and he needs to be brought back into a position where he can serve. And that's what happens through Barnabas's ministry. And what's beautiful about this is their disagreement actually leads to more people hearing the gospel and more churches being strengthened. So we don't want to actively seek out disagreement. We don't want to actively cause disagreement, but we can see that the Lord can even use that in his providential ways. He can use disagreements to spread the gospel in unique ways. So, friends, I hope this encourages you. I hope this challenges you to think about, maybe you have someone who's like, that's not doing what I wanted to do. Like this, where you've been in disagreement over them and you think you've written them off, but the Lord has slowly impressed upon you that you need to be restored to this person. Seek restoration, but also see the Lord's hand in even disagreements. And or not the Lord's hand in the disagreement, but the Lord's use of disagreements to further his kingdom in ways that maybe it wouldn't have happened if the disagreement didn't arise. The Lord can use people's sin for his good purposes. I mean, if we didn't get that on Sunday from the first of the 7 words, the forgiving word, if we don't grasp that from the passion of Christ, from his crucifixion, death, burial, if we don't get that those sinful acts of those people brought about an incalculable good, we've missed the reality of the gospel and what God is doing in his sovereignty. So, friends, may you be committed to helping churches grow. May you be committed to seeing believers strengthened, and may you be committed to unity as you seek to restore with those who maybe you've had disagreements with. It's a good thing when we seek reconciliation with those who we've had those disagreements with. So, friends, I hope this this reality, not so much in the passage, but this reality encourages you that restoration can occur even when we have sharp disagreements. So I hope you have a great rest of your week. I don't see any comments in the chat or questions in the chat about things. Oh, Jill's question last week was, do we ever write letters to our missionaries to encourage them? We have the missions committee at the church, and the missions committee, part of their role and what they do as the missions committee is to encourage the missionaries. So they reach out to them on a regular basis, find out how we can be praying for them, send them Christmas cards and those types of things. But if you wanted to write the missionaries we support letters, that would be awesome. If you wanted to send them things to encourage them, that would be so awesome. We could help you do that. You just let us know, and we will get you ways to contact them, or we can have the missions committee give you the best way to reach out to those missionaries. You know, being on the field, serving the Lord in as a missionary, or those who are going out and serving in other ways and other places, it can be lonely, it can be discouraging, it can be tough. So having a church support you and church members reach out and say, "Hey, we want you to know we're praying for you," it can be a great encouragement to them. So if you would like to do that, let us know, and we would love to help encourage the missionaries we support. All right, friends, I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I will see you on Sunday.